So let's be real, there's a lot of Souls-likes out right now, some would say too much. First there was Black Myth Wukong, now there's Wu Chang, Fallen Feathers. What's next? Yang Yao, the Fallen content creator? But one game in particular I tried to play was Nioh 3, but the demos, you can't play that anymore. So I settled for Nioh 2 in my backlog, and dog, why didn't y'all tell me that this is the best Souls-like copy ever created? I'm calling it. And yeah, I never played Lies of P, but to be fair, technically that's like a Bloodborne clone. Because I know some of y'all in the comments are going to be like, but Lies of P 2 DLC. I'm not into Pinocchio, bro. I know there's like a Kazan game and I never tried it. It looked pretty cool. I didn't really like the demo, but yeah. This is a Souls-likes worth your time. If you are just trying to sift through the Souls slop and you want to know which ones are worth your time and which ones you can ignore, this is definitely one you want to play, in my humble opinion. I just cannot put this game down. The combat of this game is everything I like about action JRPGs. You got the slow, methodical pace, the small corridors in a FromSoft, that chill atmosphere, but at the same time, the combos and the combat is super quick and flashy, like a Dynasty Warriors or a Ninja Gaiden. I was actually pretty surprised Koei Tecmo made this game. Like, these are the Dynasty Warriors guys, if you didn't know. They probably woke up and said, well, everybody's making this Souls-like. They fucked around and made one of the best ones out. Okay, I'm glazing a bit, but I can't help it. It feeds into my inner weep. It's also got what I think a lot of Souls-likes and Souls clones are lacking, which is a character creator. A really good one at that. I think part of the fun in these Souls games is making your own character. A lot of developers forget that or ignore that entirely, so I'm glad it's in here. There are shrines in this game that act like bonfires, but you can do a lot more here than you could in Souls or other like Souls-likes. For instance, you can offer some of the loot you find to the spirits to give you like items, like extra support items or health items. Also, bloodstains and summoning work a little different in this game. You can choose to summon a bloodstained NPC to either help you throughout the level, or you can fight them in a duel to like get their loot. There is actual multiplayer, but it works more like a standard video game where you queue up for a quick play or you queue up with your homies, you know, how it should be in actual FromSoft games. But that's not the main thing that's great about this game. It's how they build on Souls combat. As fun as Souls combat is, we can agree it's kind of a bit basic. Not only are there 11 different weapon types, but they all have 3 different playstyles. It's basically like Switch weapons from Bloodborne, but on crack. You have the high stance with the slow moving, poise heavy attacks that leave you more vulnerable, but do lots of damage to people's guard. You have the mid attacks that are just middling damage and great for blocking. Then you have low stance, which is great for quick attacks, but low poise and low damage. But wait, there's more. There's even a timing based mechanic where you press R1 to regain your ki or stamina at the end of a combo. All these weapons have a pretty lengthy skill tree, and the way you get points is not from leveling up, but how often you play the weapon. And you're probably thinking, wow, that's a lot of mechanics to remember. Well, there's a lot more. You can turn into a demon in this game. That's fucking fire, my boy. Well, I guess it's a yokai, that's what the Japanese call it. But you don't just turn into a demon whenever you feel like it. You gotta go to these other realm areas where it's basically a domain expansion for the NPCs. You gotta kill the strongest NPC in there and lift this domain expansion. But when you're in a domain expansion, you can full transform into your demon form. But when you're not, you can pretty much only use it to like parry and stuff. Basically, the way this game goes is you're half yokai, so you have yokai abilities. There's a burst counter, which is your R2 circle, depending on what demon you pick. Oh, I forgot to mention there's 3 types of demons you can pick from. There's the brute force, which has a parry attack. It's the freest attack and the easiest to use. There's the Oni demon, or like the magic demon, who has a straight up block parry, and I hate this, it leaves you wide open, but the actual full transformation is OP, so I'm kind of mixed about this one. And there's like the assassin, I forget the name of it, the blue demon transformation. It's more for like dexterity and fast users. This is the one I use. Makes you fast as fuck, and you're pretty much unmatched with your speed when it comes to combos and attacks. Also, the parry doubles as a dodge, which is like a godsend for me. But wait, there's more. For your other 2 skills, which is R2 square or R2 circle, you can pretty much use the souls from the enemies you collected as skill attacks.
That's right, we're also playing Pokemon in this game. Like, what does this game not do? I haven't even talked about ninjutsu or magic in this game, which is basically the mage route in this game. You have two types of ninjutsu, right? You have the magic, which is the more offensive stuff, like layering your weapons with fire or water, or just using straight up magic attacks. And then there's the ninjutsu, which is more the sneaky stuff you can use to, like, you know, ninja shit. I haven't quite used this stuff yet, so I can't really speak on it. Every weapon in this game scales with a specific stat, so if you want to be a magic user, you'd use the switch axe, which is like a Grim Reaper scythe. It's what I used pre-fire. And some of these weapons are tied to some pretty important stats, like for instance the health stat is tied to spears. The way the blacksmith and the hub works in this game is completely different from Dark Souls. You don't just +5 your shit with like a Titanite ore. It's way more in depth than that. Break down the loot and random weapons you get on missions for parts. Forge your own weapons and get stats based on RNG. You can also temper those stats with some of the loot you find to be what you want it to be. You can also combine different gear, soul match it. I actually don't even know what that does. I haven't gotten to that mechanic yet. There's also a transmog where you can make your armor look exactly the way you want it. You have a hut where you can change your loadout or appearance, including your yokai appearance. Yes, you can even change how your yokai form looks. And the menu is more like a mission select than some sort of hub you walk around in. If I had to give a comparison, it kind of reminds me of Monster Hunter. It's probably like Dynasty Warriors too, but I haven't played those games in forever, so I wouldn't know. Anyway, the point is that this game isn't just simply another Souls clone. They took the FromSoft formula and they remixed the shit. The way the game plays, it feels like the design choices should be at odds with each other, but it works perfectly. You got the slow pace of the Dark Souls games, but at times, the combat feels faster than like Bloodborne. You truly feel like you're doing a back and forth in some Kung Fu, Crouching Tiger's Hidden Dragon ass video game. You cannot take enemies for granted because at the last split second, they can cook you. This is truly what it feels like to be a sequel to a video game. All I remember about Nioh 1 is that it was extremely forgettable. This one feels like a revolution on their last combat system. They did their thing with the Souls formula. They took what it was and they built onto it. But I do have some minor issues. One, this game is hard. If you don't know how your build works, how armor's stats work, if you're not upgrading your skill tree the right way, if you're not timing your key pulses, you're gonna suffer. Every part of this game, in my opinion, I feel is mandatory, and if you're just lazily playing through, you might get stuck on a boss for a day or two. I don't know, it might just be skill issue, but I don't think I've died more to any other Souls. But what's crazy is not once did that encourage me to quit the game. It just made me want to try harder. I don't know what to tell y'all. Maybe I'm a masochist. One thing that this game gets right is that feeling of the game presenting you with an impossible task and you just figuring out how to get through it your own way. It's more of a combat focused game, but it still gave me that same feeling since Demon's Souls of just being hit with this impossible situation and just racking your brain, and then that feeling of accomplishment when you finally beat the mission or you beat the boss. It's a game that rewards reaction time and mastering the mechanics, but it's kind of jarring how this game can go from ridiculously hard to laughably easy once you understand it. So hopefully in the new one they work on like balancing and difficulty spikes. Also, I think the CPU needs work. I feel like it's kind of brain dead once you know their moveset. Very predictable compared to other Souls games I've played. But yeah, the sheer customization of this game and the combat makes this game an overall W. Oh, and then there's the level design. The level design in this game tries to copy Dark Souls with the way a lot of paths loop around and come back. It might reuse a level and flip the direction. I didn't think the level design in this game was that tight. Nothing like Bloodborne or Dark Souls 1. But I do appreciate the attempt, the small corridors and stuff. It's just, I don't know, that's just my subjective opinion. Not as memorable as, say, a classic Souls level design. But they tried. And there is a story. The game has a story, but it's not nothing to write home about. It's basically like a Monster Hunter type of story. Serviceable, flashy cutscenes, and honestly, I probably enjoy it more than an actual Monster Hunter story. There's this one guy who's the protagonist's sidekick. He won't stop wiping his nose, fucking gross, but I fuck with him. But if you skip it, nothing was lost here. I will say there's some pretty charming art in these games. I like the cinematic cutscenes, the artistic ink style. And some of the lore did seem kind of interesting, the half yokai stuff. Maybe I'll look into it, but I wasn't not playing for the story. I'll tell you that right now. So Nioh 2 is a really great Souls-like. It doesn't do everything right, but if it's one thing it gets good, it's the combat. I think it might even be better than Dark Souls at that. But obviously that's not everything in the Souls game, but if you're the type who likes to turn off their brain and just, it's all about the gameplay, Nioh 2 is definitely a Souls-like for you. Also, fuck this guy.